Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert sounded off this week over the latest attempts to smear U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Democrats have taken their war against Justice Thomas to another level, imploring Chief Justice John Roberts to now step in as some discuss impeachment, while others in the party press for Thomas to resign. A group of 16 congressional Democrats has called on Roberts to investigate Thomas for accepting luxury trips from a prominent Republican donor for over 2 decades, trips that, by current rules and standards, he was not required to report. The left will endlessly attack a patriot like Justice Clarence Thomas but say nothing as George Soros' son visits the White House on what is essentially a monthly basis, Boebert tweeted. As noted by Boebert, the George Soros family has its tentacles deep within the Biden administration. Since Joe Biden took office, Soros' son has visited top officials at the White House 14 times. Alexander Soros, a massive Democrat fundraiser who brags about his relationships with world leaders as if he would have gotten them on his own, has had more than a dozen White House visits with top officials in the past 2 years. ProPublica reported last week that billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow had provided Justice Thomas with luxury trips for years. 8 senators and 8 representatives sent Roberts a letter on Friday to urge him to initiate an investigation into any unethical and potentially unlawful conduct that Thomas might have committed. The letter states that the court has barely acknowledged the allegations so far. The Hill reported. We believe that it is your duty as Chief Justice to safeguard public faith in the judiciary, and that fulfilling that duty requires swift, thorough, independent and transparent investigation into these allegations, the letter said. The outlet reported that Thomas received some gifts worth more than $500,000, but the justice did not disclose them over the years. In response to the report, Thomas claimed that he was advised that he did not need to disclose any of the trips. Early in my tenure at the court, I sought guidance from my colleagues and others in the judiciary, and was advised that this sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends, who did not have business before the court, was not reportable, Thomas said in a rare response to criticism. According to the letter, the Democrats claimed that federal law mandates top officials, including Supreme Court justices, to report gifts of this nature annually. The letter further stated that there are only limited exceptions to the law, which allow officials to enjoy hospitality in the course of ordinary, personal friendships, but not for them to hide from the public extravagant gifts by wealthy political interests. According to The Hill, the group of Democrats who signed the letter also called for an investigation into who else accompanied Thomas on these trips. They noted that they have reason to believe that Crow is connected to multiple groups that have filed amicus briefs to the court, but it is unclear if anyone else on these trips had interests connected to Thomas's official duties. Some experts have come to Thomas's defense, calling Democratic efforts to get him nothing but politics. Roger Severino, Vice President of Domestic Policy and the Joseph C. and Elizabeth A. Anderlich Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, told Fox News late last week. This is just grasping at straws by the left that is desperate to tear down Justice Thomas because he now has a working originalist majority on the court. This is politics. Plain and simple. The ProPublica report also claimed that trips taken by Thomas have no known precedent in the modern history of the U.S. Supreme Court. But Severino, a Harvard Law graduate, flatly rejected that, Fox News noted. There is no there because the justices have received gifts of hospitality from friends forever, Severino said. And many of the justices have taken far more trips than Justice Thomas on somebody else's dime, including Justice Breyer, who we know has taken at least 233 trips when he was on the bench.